good morning, YouTube. How you doing, my man Mike? Welcome in. And I'd like to say welcome in to those that are coming in on the replay and those that are on their way. We doing this at the crack of dawn. Um, I am technically in Mountain Standard Time. This is the first time I've done a live in this time zone. Oh my lord, it's like 1:53 in the morning. You know. Blessings to you all. Um, I want to start with a backstory, and let me apologize right now. I might get a little intense. I might start cussing and screaming. I promise I will try to check myself. Amen. I'm happy to know you're doing great there, buddy. Um, might have to check myself because I might get reminded and go into a tangent. Little backstory. I've said it a million times. A lot of people, it just goes right over their head. I am what's called an empath. I don't brag about it. I don't. I really don't. I wish I wasn't. I wish I could. I have a grasp on it to a point. But before I knew what the heck I was, and again, I am not proud of it. I could I could care less if it would just go away, but it ain't. Now, what does that mean? That means that I'm hypersensitive. I actually soak up other people's feelings, um, and then I become, you know, my intensity, my anger is 10 times the normal anger of a regular person. My happiness is 10 times normal of a happy person, and it's very overwhelming at times. But what I was kind of reminded yesterday is that it wasn't always I wasn't always like this. And I believe, and I'm not no psychologist, I'm not a professional, I'm not anyone. Um, you said no, no yelling. Okay, I'll give it the old college try. Um, I realized my subconscious locked away my feelings for many years in my first marriage. I mean, literally locked them away. I was so cold hearted. I was so matter of fact and didn't give a flip. And then, I mean, I had many times because I was so stressed out that I would come home and sit in my driveway. If I knew I was about to lose my house, I knew I was about to lose my brand new car, my motorcycle. I was about to lose everything. I had no help from my first wife. I had nothing. You know what I mean? But even then, I would literally cry, tear up, or whatever you want to say. No men don't want to admit it, but I did in the driveway for about 30 or 40 minutes. Straighten up, go in the house, not saying nothing to nobody, go in my room, watch TV, go to bed, start over. And in that process, as miserable as I was, I knew I wanted to get away from the situation. I mean, literally, when I learned how to drive a truck, I promise you, I wasn't coming back. And I know that sounds childish, just the simple fact of saying I want a divorce. Um, I just wasn't coming back. And I literally got the job because um, I knew driving a truck, at least I'd have a place to stay. You feel me? I knew at least I'd have a place to stay. And like I said, I wasn't coming back. I didn't have the nuts to say divorce because something in me, my parents fought all the time. I was going, I wanted it to work, but it was a lost cause. It was a lost cause. It was over. My marriage was over. It had been over for years. I had been in a sexless marriage, and I had been in an emotionless marriage. I had, I was no attention, no emotion, no nothing. And I remember one time she said we with this mad showing off in front of her mother. I took her mother in. The mother was starving. Uh, I feel like we just roommates. I said, well, we roommates. I moved out of the bedroom and moved downstairs and just kept on working. I just didn't care no more. And I remember she started arguing, came at me, went, this is how black women do, especially ghetto black women. Went and grabbed a dull butcher knife. It was my Johnson and Wales, because I went to Johnson and Wales for culinary college. A dull butcher knife, like she was gonna come and stab me. And she started coming down the stairs, and I stood there, and I was done. And I remember I said, and this is a lot of background here. And I remember I said, if you come at me with that knife, I'm gonna take it from your arm, and I might kill you. And for some reason, she's seen it in my eyes. And I'm not a violent person, but when you push me to a point, and then after that, I packed whatever I had, and I left. This is the stuff that I went through for years, years. And this is from a Christian woman, supposedly devout Christian. I need Jesus. I'm going to church, and that's why half the time, most of these people that call themselves Christian, they're just churchgoers. They're not Christians. There's no forgiveness. There's no nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's no nothing. And the fact is that I was in such dismay and disrepair, and I mean, I was so desperate, so hard up, and I was reminded of this yesterday. I was so desperate and so hard up for affection. Not even, everybody always thinks it's sex. Just someone to touch my hand of the opposite sex, someone to smile, someone just to give a flying, what, that, you know, um, but I had locked away those feelings. And I remembered an ex had gotten in contact with me through Facebook message or whatever. And not realizing now that I know that they were um, a narcissist also, because I attract these people, not realizing that I was going to latch onto this person for dear life because they gave me uh, attention. And I subconsciously opened that door of emotions that, remember, I said earlier, that was magnified tenfold. And the wave of emotions that hit me was unbelievably uncontrollable. Man, I really just can't explain how bad it was. But again, I'm going back to, I was reminded yesterday. And why am I saying this? It's because an old friend of mine had, contact me, and I don't answer unfamiliar numbers. And then I checked the voicemail, and they said that, I don't know if this is Darren's old number, and see if he's okay, blah 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 blah. Now we haven't spoken in almost 8 years, and I was so excited because I wanted to say, hey, look what happened to me. Look what happened. Look what happened, the transformation. And, I said, remember, I was just so, I was so hurt and all this other stuff. And she said, you were worse than that because a lot of people, everybody thinks that you can't have platonic female friends. Well, actually, I did. And it was very respectful because she, her name's Lisa, was going through something and needed a co-driver. And I was just getting with this narcissistic person. I said, well, I can't. I got a girlfriend. And she said, no, well, we can drive. I need more experience, I need help, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember when it happened, I said, okay, we're going to have some rules. And when the curtains close, we're going to, hey, I'm coming back. You're right, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we, we actually we co-drove for, I don't know, for the year or whatever, but we became really good friends. And with all the crap that I was going through, I just made a mistake. Not the mistake, but I was having, I kind of, I got to say it this way, in a gay manner, was making friends with women better than I was making friends with guys. I really had no, other than my best friend Vincent, I had no male friends. And, this is how it went. And I remember she was telling me that at one point I was like crying every day. She had to put like earplugs in her ears. I mean, I didn't realize how bad it was. I knew it was bad, but I was like, yo, man. But the fact is, I could not at that time handle or understand. And I was like, I thought I was a freak. Why are my emotions going so in disarray, awry, or whatever you want to call it? And you know, we'd always talk like, homegirl, homeboy, whatever, how just friends. And I was just so clueless. I remember I mentioned something that you just don't say in front of your girlfriend about your female friend, because personal stuff was told to me. Good morning, morning, morning. Personal stuff was told to me, and I was just blurting it out, and I had no clue. But when Norma came into the situation, again, blessed by God, when Norma came into the situation, and see, a lot of times we have to understand that if you have friends or whatever, look, you're gonna have to learn one thing. When your woman, and when a woman cares about you and wants to be with you, she's gonna mark her territory. She is so gonna mark her territory. And I was just clueless. Well, these are my friends. Yeah, 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 yeah. And it just had to be told to me. And I remember my friend Keisha had told me, she said, Darren, I love you to death. We've been friends for like 15, 16 years. I have no problem stepping aside and stepping back. And I was literally I was on like a hill to die for. And then I had to learn that wasn't the hill to die for, because God knew, and I'm going to say it one more time. God knew I had some internal fixing to do. And that internal fixing wasn't going to come from a female friend. That was going to come from a girlfriend that was eventually going to be your wife. I wish could stop and post a picture. I remember the night where she marked her territory with my friend Keisha, and even Keisha knew it. She said no. She said no. She's marking her territory. You belong to her now. And it took a long time for that to sink in. It took a whole long. I mean, took a long time to sink in. But I wear that badge of honor with pride because I was allowed to grow as a man. I was allowed to grow as because my growth was stunted. My clothes was stunted. My you know my manhood was stunted. I started bucking up with her. I remember we got into one argument, and I was so upset. I said, "I'll drop you like a hot motherfucking potato. Don't you talk to me like that." I've allowed women to talk to me like that my whole freaking life. Don't you dare talk to me like that. Well, that's not fair. No, well, I said, well, life ain't fair, but I'm not allowing. That was the first time that I exerted a healthy boundary. I said, I am not going to let no woman talk to me like that ever again. And I mean, I remember when I said it, I was shaking, and because I be honest with y'all, I was a wuss. I could, I had the potential, but I wanted to, I want you to be, I want you to be happy with me. I don't want you to be mad with me. I don't want you to be blah 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 blah. You know, and I had to learn, the simple task of installing and putting out healthy boundaries. Because guess what? You know, they're healthy now before they wasn't. A lot of these women say, I'll let you walk all over me. No, I'm allowing you that privilege to get away with certain things. Before it was, oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings because you're gonna hurt my feelings and boo hoo hoo. But now it's I sit back in that millisecond and think about it. Is this woman trying to hurt the relationship, or is she doing something for the benefit of the relationship? And 99.9% of the time, it's the second one, for the benefit of the relationship. So okay, you know what I'm saying? There is I made that split decision. Okay, but if I don't like it, mm-mm, my voice will change, and you ain't walking over nothing. But that's a rarity, and that's why my wife now, she has my utmost respect. It's a rarity when I say no, we ain't doing that, and she knows it. Um, but I had to learn how to transition from that single miserable life to understanding. Okay, boy, guys, I went through. I'm surprised I got a signal now. I went through some crazy mess out here. But excuse me here. Um, I had to learn to to accept that that I am a part of. Let me try to go back up. I had to learn that, hey, you don't know and never been in a normal relationship. You know what I'm saying? A normal relationship. Yes, you're gonna fight and argue, and yes, you're gonna be mad at each other. Yes, that's still, but a normal relationship. So when you're in a normal relationship, you have to accept. You don't roll over on everything, but you have to learn to accept, adapt, and overcome. And a lot of people don't want that. No, I'm independent. I'm an independent woman. I hear that. It just gets on my last stinking nerve. You know, you're gonna have to accept this, or you're gonna have to have your own. You're gonna come over for the weekend, then you got to go. Then you don't want to be with nobody. You don't want to be with nobody, and that person ain't the one for you. Yeah, I understand certain things. You know, um, like certain situations. Like if you're a husband and wife co-driving, yeah, you're together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and something. This jail cell's bigger than this damn truck. That yeah, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Hold on. Don't want to pass. Let's see. Okay, this jail's so bigger, so I understand that. But the fact that you hear that, oh, you got to have your own, blah blah blah, and then when the woman decides, see, it's not equal. When the woman, I want you to move in with me. You ever notice that? I want you to move in with me. So long as I own the home or I am in control, you know, when we get into an argument, I can tell you to get the hell out. I can stay in control and enforce your hand. See, there's a lot of there's a lot of selfishness in relationships. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we jump in real quick. And don't get me wrong, boy, I jumped in real quick, especially with Norma. But I knew it was something about her because she asked me, she did the same thing. But I knew there was something about her. But I always had that backup. I had the truck, and I knew I'd have a place to sleep. I'd have it. But I knew there was the difference. You know what I mean? And that transition, I literally had to say, you know, I literally had to say, and I had to talk to myself many a time, relax, you know, bring that anxiety down. It's not, it's okay. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. And it's funny how God works because I thought in the beginning, this woman that I'm married to right now, I thought boy, I got so many clueless days. I thought she didn't like me, and I was terrified because I liked her. And and don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I made a lot of mistakes, but I liked her. You know what I'm saying? And I said, well, we could be friends. At least we could be friends. And we talked from that day forward. When I met her, we talked every day. There's only been a couple of times that we have not talked to each other for a few days. She calls me in the morning. on the way to work, called me in the morning on the way home, and I sit on the phone and listen to her, and I remember in back to the fact that she was marking her territory. She let me know that no, I can't have you having female friends, and I didn't understand that because I remember everybody that when I talked about my friend Lisa that we were co-drivers for I think it's like 6 months to a year or something like that, and then I told her I said, look, I'm ready to go single, and I remember I was going through co-driver withdrawal. I had nobody to talk to, nobody to cry, no one to cry to, and and I was reminded of boy, I was a big old crybaby. I have control over that now. That's why I was telling her. I said, hey, Lise, what's going on here for you? How you doing? Blah 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 blah. And she was telling me she had gotten in a big accident and it forced her out. And I remember when that almost life-ending accident I got in. I remember saying that. I said, if I don't get back in this truck, I'm never going to get back in this truck. I'm never. Good morning, welcome in, welcome in. I said to myself, I'm never going to get back in this truck. But guess what? And here's the thing. I go back to what the story I'm talking about. Transitioning from single to a relationship. I had, and it took years. I had to talk myself down off a cliff and keep telling myself that this woman that I'm dating now is not going to do to me what all the others did, what I let all the others did. And I remember, and I said it earlier, she said something that triggered me, and I went off because that was what had been done to me time and time. When saying something like that time and time over again, it triggered me, and I went off. And from that day forward, I had to keep checking myself. Stop being arrogant. Stop being a dick. Stop being a fool. And this is the amazing part. When you trust in God, He's going to put someone in your path. I needed a male friend. Not any male friend. Not no fucking wuss. I needed someone that I know would knock the fuck out of me, but was man enough to tell me, hey, bro, don't fucking do that. I did that, and this is what happened. Hey, bro, nah, man, don't be stupid. I needed that. And I remember we were talking. The night, oh boy, I survived a horrific truck accident. And I remember, I really wasn't drinking at the time, but I had my knee wrapped up, and they didn't take all. They didn't take all the explosion and and knocked shards of glass into my knee. So I was in pain. I was traumatized, and I literally on crutches walked about a half a mile to the liquor store. I got a big old bottle of wine and a bottle of, I think, Jack Daniels or something. I drank that whole, and I remember everywhere I was, everybody trying to, and I blacked out and said some effed up shit. I remember when I told Charles, I said, hey man, tell everybody on Facebook, if you called me, I blacked out, whatever I said, I'm sorry. Whatever I said, I'm apologizing. You know what I'm saying? I said whatever I did, I'm sorry because I was so traumatized. And but I remember I said, "Hey, I need someone to help me stop doing something." That didn't work. But Charles had came in and volunteered. Hey, man, I'll help you through. I'll help you through this. And that's what I needed. I needed. That's why, till this day, if that man needs something and I got it, it's his. Because we've got see, and this is what I'm talking about when we got these women that say I don't need a man. I'm the mother and the father, and I'm all this bullshit. Men need men. Boys need men. Boys need other boys to point them, and it's what when y'all look at the Bible, it says iron sharpens iron. We need another male person in our lives to help sharpen our teeth so we can understand how to effing act. Do you see what I'm saying? Wait a minute. Boy, I didn't even look. I hope I didn't bypass the road, but we'll see. Men need other men. Now, in the early part of this, I did explain we need women too. We need you. See, don't get me started. I always hearing this. I don't want a man. I need a man. I want and need my wife. Because when one part of that dies out, I rely on the other part. And then guess what? When I rely on the other part, the other part gets rekindled. When it's one, it's a want, and then I feel like I don't need you no more. And then guess what? I'm focusing on the one. Guess what? The need gets rekindled. The need gets fired back up. Oh my God, Dre Lachey's in the house. Hey, but what I'm saying is they both they both coincide, guys. They both coincide. How do you know this? It's from experience. You know what I'm saying? It's from experience. You got to learn through everything that you've been through. Everybody, men ain't shit and women ain't shit and all y'all. I'm glad you ain't shit because shit stink. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, when you're single, a lot of y'all been single for so stinking long. Okay, 61A. A lot of y'all been single for so long. You when something pops up, you don't choose right. First of all, and that's not a personal attack on anybody that's listening. I'm saying that because that's the story of my life. I was choosing wrong, choosing wrong, choosing wrong, choosing wrong. So when my heart told my head, "Hey man, God blessed you with this woman. I think it's time to ask her to marry." And I literally was terrified. And I said, "You know what? I want I want to marry this woman, but I'm terrified." Okay, let's sit down. I sat down with a book. I think it was in the back of this truck, and wrote down the stuff that I want in a woman. And I said, let's take a look at this. If she proves if she proves the point to that extent, if she If she proves a point to that extent, I'm at a stoplight. I just read what you said. You a fool. You a fool, Dre. Um, if she proves a point to that extent, then you need to ask her to marry. And I promise you, each and every time. And I remember when I first told her, she got mad. Y'all women get mad for the dumbest reason. I said, you just don't know. I was afraid. I was afraid of making the wrong choice. But you proved me wrong each and every time. See, this is what I'm saying. Even, you know, even when, if you, first of all, if you find someone crazy enough that want to be with you, okay, you need to give them the side eye, and then you need to give them the magnifying glass. What do you want to be with me for? And if all the reasons why they show they want to be with you, then take the jump, make that move, but keep that side eye on them until it's time to get your eyes fixed, so you don't have to be on the side eye anymore, and that you can focus on them. You got to learn to have a proper transition into a relationship. 99.9% of us have never been in a healthy relationship, especially black folks. And you can't tell me never one of y'all that's listening today ain't been traumatized in some way, some form in your life. Ain't there one of y'all. Because I was reminded how traumatized I was by my co-driver. Her name was Lisa. And I was like, damn. She's like, yeah, you were crying all the time. And he was like, Lisa, I need to call her. She told me don't call and blah. In other words, I was so desperate. I was so unadulteratedly desperate for affection that I was willing to sell my soul and slit my throat for the blood just for affection, for attention, for anything that was going to give that part of it. I did, I realized it was bad. I told y'all many stories, but yesterday I was reminded that it was really bad, and I had it really bad. And I looked at myself today, and I thank God for my situation. I thank God that I wake up with a smile on my face, and I get on this YouTube thing, and I'm mumbling and laughing and trying to figure out how to keep talking without Charles calling me up and saying, "Hey, mother effer, you can't have quiet noise." I didn't have none of that. I call y'all my YouTube friends. You know what I'm saying? But that it goes back to that transition, that humble transition. And I'm gonna say humble, but a lot of it wasn't humble. I had to, I had to push it and fight for it and whatever. But that humble, uh-oh, boy, it's like the crack of dawn around here, guy. That humble transition to being boyfriend and girlfriend. And I remember it because, I would get, um, especially on no, Instagram. I've been, before I really started on Facebook, Instagram, I was just liking everything. Like. You like mine, I like yours. Like. But then I realized Instagram and TikTok have, I call them predators. They see my old greasy ass with my beard and me doing goofy lawnmower stuff. But you big titty Bertha with a string up your butt saying, "Hey, hi, how you doing? Hi, hi. Hey, whoa, he, hi, he." And I had to realize, even though it's common sense, But I was like, look, I need to have all these Instagram friends. I'm gonna use the Instagram, but I had to realize, yes, I admit clueless. I had to realize, and again, I'm talking about transitioning into being married and friendship or whatever. I had to realize that okay, that's not cool. That's not cool liking everybody's stuff. And it's also not cool when you become my friend and I look and all it is you showing your butt and all this other stuff and you want me to people don't realize a lot of prostitutes and all that stuff, that's where they get their business from. Instagram and TikTok and what's that other one? I don't know. But they're doing that. And I had to, one day I just went and I did an Instagram purge. If you had a butt in the air and all that stuff, unfriend, 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 unfriend. I did a purge. I just went through. And I remember I told my buddy Vincent, he just got married, 55. And he was always, especially on Facebook, he was always, and a lot of people don't realize that you take a lot of pictures, you want that attention. A lot of people from our high school and all that, he would say blah blah blah. Oh, look, you're looking beautiful today. But I said, and I have his phone number. I called him up and see a lot of times we don't have other men that are man enough to say something. I said, hey nigga, I just spent over $1,000 coming to your effing wedding. Don't do that. Better yet, don't ever like somebody's another woman stuff unless it's your wife. Do you see what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. What I did is, if you don't face and y'all doing some certain things that ain't really cool to another woman, yeah, I'll do this. I'm still gonna watch your video on YouTube because I am loyal to a whole bunch of people on this thing. But I'm gonna turn it upside down. I ain't gonna look at it. I'm not gonna hit the like button, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna get you that watch time out, especially if you're monetized. I have to learn how to be respectful because I don't want that conversation of, hey, I feel uncomfortable with you liking this person, this person, this person, and they're doing this type of video. Because trust me, ain't nobody taking the place of my wife. I'd have to be no. I ain't even that. They ain't that much stupidity in the world for me to make some dumbass mistake like that. I don't have it. I don't have it in me. This woman, we locked in. I'm sorry, you ain't getting rid of me. So I had to recognize that. I even went through and had to undo some stuff because I had to check myself. Wait a minute. I'm liking that video with the button. Oh, no. We got to unlike that. Okay, we can't be doing that no more. See, it's, yeah, and they, well, they're not securing themselves. So, about 8 years ago, I wasn't securing my daggone self. And you know what? I put it this way. The Bible says they shall leave thy mother and father and cleave unto as one. I'm not going to make one part of my body and soul screwed up for Instagram, TikTok, and or YouTube. And do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. Respect is everything. But sometimes you guys don't realize, y'all think every man cheat, every man. Some of us are just plain stupid. You know what I'm saying? Oh, damn. What the hell am I doing? Hold up. Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to get my bearings. Wait a minute. You know what? I need to get rolling here. I'm in the wrong. This GPS got me. This GPS got me all screwed up. I'm tired of these small behind roads and whatever. We're gonna get down the road here. I was in the mountains for so long, boy. Jesus. Let me see where we at here. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. All right. But you know, some of us are just plain stupid because we didn't learn. And a lot of times I was so embarrassed. I got married really young. Um, uh, boy, I'm gonna keep going this way and figure out. You know, I need to get on the highway and get some distance instead of going like this. GPS got me going on all these side roads and all this other crap. But I forgot what I I forgot where I was. Oh, but see, the thing is, it's like you when when you get into these relationships, and when we get into these relationships, you know, we we don't learn. Uh oh. We don't learn the basics of negotiation. I'm gonna say that first. Let's see. Yeah, I'll say that. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was a little. Um, we don't learn the art of negotiation, and like a lot of times it's when we get with a certain person. Good morning. Good morning. We get with a certain person. We're like, well, um, I don't like this person. I don't want you to be friends with them no more. But when you sit there and you explain your reasoning behind that, you know, you allow the person to figure it out for themselves. And it's like right now, my wife has a really good friend that she's really good friends with. She doesn't want to hurt his feelings, but I had to tell her, babe, I'm not telling you not to be her friend, but I'm telling you I call bull sh. You know what? Because before Norma met me, she was cruising. She about to hit platinum. And what does that mean? Platinum means you've been cruising for a minute. Or I don't know, platinum or diamond, one of them daggone things. Good morning, good morning. And I said, look, and I gave my reasons, and I said I'm not going to change my mind. I said, but I will be respectful around your friends, and I will do whatever I need to do around your friends. But I'm telling you, they ain't my friends. And what did it mean by it? Okay, she had been the the third string or whatever. When every time they went on cruises, so when her friend and her husband would go on a cruise and they bring their mama, my wife would be the roommate, the mama's roommate on the board. And Norma did her own thing on the cruise. She didn't hang with them or whatever. But I had mentioned, I remember one time I said, hey, why don't you why don't you invite them on one of our cruises? And I did. And she said, well, uh, my her her friend saying my husband he don't like to go on the older ships. I said okay, uh, and I told her I said we made the invitation. I said there's going to be a limit to those invitations. After that, it won't be no more. And I remember like 6 months down the line, she said, I think after we had went on that boat and came back, and they said, we're going, we're booking a cruise, and we're going on the such and such, and such stuff. The family's coming. Y'all want to go? And I said, wait a minute, hold up a minute. I said, hold up a minute. Ain't that the boat we invited them to come on? And she said, yeah. And that's when I was done. I said, I thought he didn't want to go on the older ships. I thought he didn't want to do that. But he'll go in there with his family. I said, okay. Don't have to tell me twice. And she started making excuses. I said, no, you don't have to make excuses. I call bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Now, my friends, it's a yeah or nay in 5 minutes before I know it, it's a definite yay. Because if I call Charles up and I say, hey, we're looking at this boat. We just booked the cruise. I'm just letting you know if y'all want to come. Hey, what's your booking number? Blah blah blah. Hold on, I'll call you right back. 5 minutes later, yeah, we booked the cruise. We're coming. And see, y'all don't know that they've been the brunt, not the brunt of an argument, but had I won, not really won, because when you're a man, you never win an argument. But I proved my point. See, because my friends became her friends. Because I was like, look, anytime we ask the lanes if they want to come somewhere, it's either no, can't make it, or we in. You ask your friends, it's every excuse in the book. Now, who's the friends in this situation? I said, I'm not, and again, when you got to learn about having transition and having understanding. So I'm not telling you not to have your friend, but I want you to see what I see. Do you see what I'm saying? Because in to add to that, and don't take it personal, but you don't have the right because you messed up that right to end situations because you have not qualified yourself to be in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? My friends, look, I got a real small circle, which and actually it's really small. There's only two people I'll do for. Everybody else, y'all associates or whatever, sorry, can't help you. Or if I say, well, I'm gonna have to ask the wife, that's telling you no. That's telling if you can't read between the lines, I'm gonna have to ask the wife. That means no. You know what I'm saying? But it's still the same. What the? let's see how many. All right. But what I've also learned is everything ain't my way. Everything is not her way, but it's all needs to be our way. And when you can learn that, you bring up a healthy transition into a healthy relationship. Now I'm not saying it's gonna work every time, because a lot of us, a lot of we peoples, we be faking the funk, and then the real person comes out 6, 7, 8 months down the line, and now we're upset because you're emotionally invested in this fool, male and or female, and then you got to kick him to the curb. You know what I'm saying? You're emotionally invested, but and now you got to kick him to the curb. Wait a minute, no, no, no. Ain't no way. We ain't turning back from that one, brother. You know what I mean? See, people need to learn how to, even in the dating, even in the dating portion of it, be who you really are. Because who you really are, someone is going to appreciate that person. Someone is going to appreciate that person. And then you say, I need someone who can handle me. Well, if you're a dick, you need to be by yourself. Ain't nobody want to handle no dick, male and or female. Handle yourself. But if you have a certain situation, if you have a certain um, handicap, God will put that right person in your life to strengthen that handicap, to make that handicap not a handicap anymore. I remember, geez, man, and that was another thing that reminded me. I was so needy, and I remember Lisa telling me I'd be crying and be so upset. Why am I so needy? Yeah, I was needy, but and most people get turned off by that. My wife wasn't. My girlfriend wasn't. Who became my wife? She fed that need till I was so full that I remember one day I was just looking up and looking around, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not needy no more. What? What? I'm good. Why am I not? Why am I not emotionally attached? Why am I not like the world gonna fall apart? What the heck is going on? The right person fed me the right amount. It's just like the doctor coming along and giving you a prescription and saying, "Hey, take this to the pharmacy and then take this twice a day and for 30 days or whatever." Well, guy came along and said, I'm gonna put a person that in your life that's gonna talk to you twice a day for literally the rest of your daggone relationship, and you're not gonna need any attention. You're not going to be looking on Instagram for bigbooty.com or whatever. You're not going to do all that because this person I'm putting in your life is going to give you the exact amount. I've already written out the prescription. I had her go to the pharmacist. I had her pick up this prescription, and she's going to spoon feed your behind to the point that you ain't going to need, and you're going to slowly heal. And by the time you realize you're healed, you're going to be in such amazement that you're going to praise. You're going to give me the glory on that one because you are hard headed. You think you know everything, and I had to step in, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for you to finally freaking give up. I've been waiting on your dumb behind, But I finally wrote out the prescription for your ass to be happy. And you're still going to be in amazement. And you're going to wonder. And you're going to sit back and look back. And I sit back and I say this because I was reminded yesterday of a really good friend. And it's funny, y'all laugh. She's a trumper. Still a trumper. I didn't even want to ask. But a good friend, and was cracking me up and said, "Yeah, boy, you was a hot mess." And I said, "You know what? I'm not anymore." I was so proud to say I'm good because if if I didn't sit back and be humble and learn how to transition from being a pathetic, you know, divorced man starved for affection, freaking starved. No, when you say not a no, nothing new, not a goose egg, zero, zilch, not sexual, just affection, attention. Someone that was just gonna say it's gonna be all right. You could type that next, but when you hear that from a woman, you guys don't realize the strength and the power that y'all have in your voice and in your mouth and in your heart. The strength that you have that can bring a man one to his knees or make him the president of the United States, make him the foremost authority and make him the strongest man he could ever be by just a couple of words. Do you know what I'm saying? The power that you women have. But a lot, I don't need no man. You know, and all you're saying is, I'm just hurt. Well, guess what? If I stay like that, I would have still been miserable. Nobody would have wanted to been around me. I've told the story how pathetic I was, but then I was reminded it was worse than that. And the fact is that for blessed reason, some blessed reason, I navigated the transition from husband, I mean, no, from damn near nobody to somebody to boyfriend to happy husband. And it's so funny. It's so funny, you know. I got all these freaking lawnmowers and aerators and all this other stuff, and I just love tinkering with them. Like when I go home, I'm gonna be home a day early. I'm gonna have time maybe sand down one part, paint it, get online, maybe order another piece, just something like that. And but she had mentioned, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fix this one, I'm gonna sell it. She was like, well, why don't you keep it, man? Just that word, because she knows how much I love playing with this stuff. Why don't you keep it? You want to keep it. She knows me, but I had already said, look, I got to make some room. Um, I'm still up on the lines. uh, oh, sorry, I started yelling. I told Mike, I'll promise, I'll be trying not to yell. The Oh man, should have took that shortcut, but I didn't want to be on that sorry behind side road. Oh well, but but like well, I kind of lost where I was. But when you humbly learn how to transition and say, you sit down, like, say if any of y'all really want to be in a relationship or you want to fix your relationship, get a notebook out and write, what do I want and what do I need from someone? What am I willing to put up with and what am I willing not to put up with? You know what I'm saying? Because you see it on TikTok a lot. I was with a man, then I started making more than him, and I see he was beneath me, so I got rid of him. Then you really didn't want to be with him. You really didn't want to be with him. But he got to make at least the same or more. Okay, tell me how. Especially everybody ain't go getters. Some people just want to work a 9 to 5, keep that 9 to 5, have benefits, and do stuff. And there's a million people that want to be with someone like that. You see what I'm saying? But when a woman loses they job, the man picks up the slack. My wife damn near makes double what I make. But I think it's about almost 2 years ago, had went through a hard transition, and she had to rely on me. And I had no problem, no hesitation. I was selling stocks, I was selling whatever to make sure that we are going to be okay. It didn't last long, but she was like, I gotta. I said, babe. Now I finally had to tell her, look, stop just taking anything. Stop taking anything. We will survive. We will make it. But you need to find your peace. And then you need to find your way. And then after that, we'll be all right. And eventually she found her way. I'm her biggest cheerleader. I got no problem with that. I have no problem with that. I have no problem kneeling to her because she's my queen. And I know she has no problem kneeling to me because I'm her king. That's an equal opportunity there. And she's so funny because she be coming to me for decisions. I was like, babe, handle that. You know what you're doing, handle that. No, that's why I'm talking to you. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to throw it on you. We be laughing. Well, one of us got to make a decision. Did we finally make the decision? Well, let's do this. You know, it's not about trying to run somebody and control them. It's about finding that right balance, finding that equilibrium, finding that one thing that's going to keep you going. You know what I mean? Finding that, because when you find it, it's going to be unbelievably wonderful. And again, I go back to a friend Lisa, who we actually was co-drivers. Boy, when she would say, yeah, she was, oh, you was crying all the time, and I had to put some earplugs on. I was feeling so sorry for you, and you were so desperate and whatever. And I was like, you know what? That's a conversation. That's a conversation. And what I mean by like, if black ass, my black behind can make it through. You, and you can make it through also. I never gave up on the notion of marriage. I never gave up. My wife, I think she gave up. She was just, well, as long as you wanted to be my boyfriend, I'm good. Because I can show you. Look at the video. She was so surprised when I asked her. It's one of the videos in my library. She was so surprised. I asked her, and I was scared to death. I thought I was gonna fall over. I was fat and overweight, and then but she thought I was the sexiest thing next to peanut butter. You know what I mean? Um, I was just it for her, and I wanted her to be it for me. And she was just so surprised. They were like, "Well, what's your answer?" She said, "You're like, yeah, yeah." And I remember we had went and walking the next day because I just love to take pictures. And she loved that ring, as small as it was. I mean, that thing swallowed up her finger. But she was unbelievably happy. And I knew that for all the mistakes I made, I finally made the right choice. Learn, learn. Live and learn from your mistakes. Don't be demanding, but be assertive. Have those positive boundaries, and you could have what your heart desires. Simple as that. Hey, Bam Nola, what's up, bud? I can barely see it, but I see it. So, other than that, we're gonna shut this one down and put this in the archives. Just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming in. You guys have blessed me. You reminded me of how good God is, because beside Him there is no other. You reminded me that I'm going to do my best to cherish my marriage even more, and then to enjoy the situations that I have, and to say thank you and let you know that all y'all are always appreciated coming through on this page. And as always, know, if you don't think no one loves you, know that God loves you and I love you too. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace and chicken grease.